The Joe Rogan Experience.
I'm here with Peter Joseph, future king of the world, future cult leader for the Zeitgeist movement. You're uncomfortable with that, right? You're uncomfortable.
You
have to be. It's growing on you? Listen, you're going to accept it. King of the world is cool. Just you on the front of the ship, just like Leonardo DiCaprio, king of the world, right? There was an awesome conversation, man. It's really, you're an interesting dude, and you've had a very strange sort of a jump into this thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's been a ride.
Yeah, and you're a very young guy to be doing this too. You're only 32 years old, right?
That's right.
That's amazing. I would have thought you were much older than that, just really young looking.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
But,
I'm telling you, man, the CIA is going to probably come to you soon. They're going to try to either make you one of their own or kill you.
They can put me out of my misery.
You're going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Make a decision, or use your powers of charisma to convince them to let you run shit.
Ooh.
That's what I would suggest.
Okay, all right, I can work that angle. We'll psyop on the CIA.
What do you think, Brian? Think you can do it? I think you can do it. Is this the most fucked up podcast you've ever done? How many podcasts have you done?
In this setting, 0. This is the first podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do lots of little radio shows that you could call podcasts, but nothing like this. So it was fun.
So
Gonna do something out of the ordinary. Usually,
yeah.
I do is so serious.
Well, that is true too, right? Like, there's
that.
no goddamn humor to be a 32-year-old dude out there, you know, doom and gloom and at the end of civilization.
Trying to be positive. It's not all doom and gloom, but I appreciate the flexibility and different angles going on.
Yeah, it's fun, right? You can actually be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate the way that you accepted that and didn't take yourself too seriously.
No.
Just jumped in and went with it. So if people need to find you, they can go to the zeitgeistmovement.com.
That's right.
And TZM Movement. TZ Movement on Twitter.
And the films are at zeitgeistmovie.com.
Yeah, don't go to watchzeitgeistmovie.com because that's like some scam site that's going to put a...
Probably shouldn't even have said that.
Shit, I fucked up. Bleep that out, Brian. Beep, beep. All right, thank you, Peter Joseph.
Thank you. Take care.
Powerful Archfear. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, man, nothing. I don't know what's up.
So, what time is Shroom Fest this year? Is it going to be June again?
Late June or early July. You gotta wait till the kids are out of school. That's important. Make
That's
sure
a good
everyone's
move.
available for it.
Yeah, you don't want kids shrooming on their finals week.
Yeah.
How do you know who's done everywhere? Do you do research?
Yeah.
What did you do? Last time it was June, though, no?
June 20th. Schools got out like the 15th. Public schools got out like before that, a couple weeks before that.
So everybody.
It started. It was gonna be May, and people were like, "I'm not out of school yet." I was like, "That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah, you gotta concentrate on finals."
And so you do 3 days of Shroom Fest? That's what you do?
It was the weekend. It was Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So you can do them at any time
that
during that
weekend,
weekend.
yeah.
And then.
I might go to one day, but I like 2 days also or 3 days because sometimes people can't do it, but they want to be able to, you know?
You know, that could catch on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just calling something Earth Day makes people conscious for, you know,
for no
one day
reason.
of not littering and, you know.
We should do it on Christmas.
No, but it's
Christmas?
replaced
Yeah,
Christmas.
so that's...
But you can't
gotta be
because
warm
you have
enough to go outside.
families and shit. People have families and stuff. It's hard. You can't
You
get
can
away
do
from
mushrooms
Christmas.
on Christmas, though.
You can.
Yeah, you're more than happy to
Yeah,
go on your own.
especially if you follow the whole Christmas Santa Claus is a mushroom thing.
Yeah. People are like, I want to make another mushroom fest
Isn't
in
that
the middle.
fascinating when you look at all the different correlations, like when you looked online? All
Oh,
the
yeah.
different- yeah.
There's stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see how old those paintings are.
Yeah, I want to see too. Some of them are not old. Some of them obviously are new, but there's a bunch of really old ones that were like.
Yeah, where it comes from. I
Yeah,
bet it
like-
had something to do with the pagan holiday that took over. Like, I bet they would worship that.
Probably
so,
had
like,
something
we're
to do with it. Well, it was also something to do with just the Siberian shamans. You know, the whole
Yeah, that
idea
was in
that
there.
he comes from the North Pole. Well, Siberia is like, you know, near the North Pole, and the Siberian shamans are the ones who are known to use this Amanita muscaria mushroom. That's what we were talking about with the reindeer too.
Yeah.
I forgot to say that when people come out of their huts to pee when they're having these mushroom ceremonies,
Yeah.
reindeers will knock them over to get their piss. They'll knock
They
them
said,
over
they
to
said
get
and
the
there's
snow.
one guy disagrees with that being a theory.
Really?
In Siberia, because he said in Siberia they don't have that images and stuff. They don't have that of the flying reindeer. So if it was all based on that, then they should have it too. That was his reason.
That makes sense. Maybe, but you know, maybe
So it must have
maybe
come somewhere
them
else, I
to
don't know.
that was also possible that to them the idea of
They
the
also could've wiped it
reindeer
out by
being
now.
intoxicated, like they didn't need to have the reindeer fly.
Yeah.
Like everybody kind of knew the reindeer were tripping
Someone
their
else got
balls
that.
off. Who knows? You know, and
Yeah.
then maybe people heard about it that the reindeer do eat these psychedelic mushrooms. That is a part of their diet. They actually like them. That's pretty
Weird.
wild, right?
It's very weird
The
how it gets
reindeer
started and
seeking
stuff.
out.
Yeah.
Well, you know, some psychedelics kill animals. Like DMT kills sheep.
Really?
Yeah, if they find grass
Wow.
that's rich in certain DMT,
They'll just die.
they'll just die. The sheep will eat it and then fall on their back and their little legs kick up in the air and they fucking seizure to death. which is
Well,
pretty
if you're
nutty.
a cow, don't participate in Shroom Fest.
Yeah. I wonder, yeah, cows don't ever eat shrooms. They have a good relationship.
My dog was eating shrooms the other day. I don't know what kind
What?
it was.
Oh, you better be
Great,
careful,
I hope this
man.
is not poisonous.
Oh, just mushrooms?
Yeah, just
Okay.
like in the
Outside.
back of my yard, all these white mushrooms grow.
Yeah.
There's some fucking seriously poisonous mushrooms, man. And there's some that look like
Your dog's
psychedelic ones. Yeah. Dogs can eat their own shit. I wouldn't worry about the dog. I'd worry about you or
Well,
something.
it's a small dog, so it's like it was eating like a big mushroom. Like shit, I hope that's not poisonous. And I just like threw it, over the fence.
Like, you're already eating enough. If it is, you're
Yeah.
dead.
Dude, a
Yeah.
friend of mine,
Right. I'm not
a
gonna
friend of
do
mine
that.
got the most ridiculous dog.
What did he
It's
get?
a baby Shih Tzu, and
Yeah.
oh my god,
It's my
it's
favorite dog.
so little, man. It's like this big.
Like a miniature?
No, it's a baby. The
Okay.
Shih Tzus only grow like that
Yeah.
big, but this is like a little tiny baby one. And like, holy shit, he's so cute.
Cabo. Oh, yeah.
Cabo was a shih tzu.
Oh, Cabo's a Shih Tzu. Dude, this thing is so cute. It's ridiculous. It's like you
Oh, yeah.
you can't
Shih
believe
Tzus,
it's
yeah.
real. It looks like a little
fun. It's
doll
so
that's moving around. You know,
Yeah.
On a shih tzu.
that used to be a wolf. How crazy is that?
What did?
The Shih
Shih
Tzu.
tzu.
Oh.
And genetically,
bred down.
somewhere
You know anything about eugenics?
along the way. No,
What they were
not
doing
really.
to, it's the way of breeding out bad
Sure,
traits.
yeah.
It's pretty much what the Holocaust was based
Right.
on. Like, part of that was, like, get rid of the negative traits
Yeah.
and they won't be part of our society anymore. They were doing it to people. They do it to people all over. And they said the reason the crime went in New York plummeted recently, and they thought it was because of education, stuff like that. It's like, no, it's because abortion was legalized 18 years ago. And that's the only thing it could be traced to. All the dumb, all the poor people, instead of having these kids and, like, making new criminals, they got rid of them. So it plummeted 18 years later when they would have been started being tried as adults.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. And they were doing it against people's wills in, like, North Carolina to people. Sterilizing the super white trash. Doctors would be like, you don't need any more. And
Dude,
just
that's
like,
amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And they want to make, no, it's because of the education programs. Like, nope. You can't trace it back to anything else but that.
That's amazing.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
Where did you get this from?
This is all from my friend Kurt Metzger turned me on to it. But it's all out there. Look it all up on the internet.
Cool. Wow. I'll have to read that. If that is a true statistic, that's fascinating. That's amazing.
Yeah. I wish I
sounds
knew
like
what the years were, where it's like the year abortion was legalized and then 18 years
I've heard it
later.
before, but I don't know if already told me that.
That's so crazy. Who would have ever thought?
Yeah. It's like, allow fucking
Yeah.
immigrants or whatever it is, or the fucking criminals, allow them to get rid of babies.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to think like this, Ari. You really,
It's just like dogs. That's
really
my point.
killing my high. You're really freaking me out here, buddy. It is kind of like dog breeding.
Yeah.
They don't know how the fuck they ever did that either, by the way. They don't. It's only,
dogs.
yeah, it's only guessing how the fuck they made all these different dogs. No one has the direct records, you know.
Yeah.
No one knows how the fuck they ever made a Shih Tzu. How they made a wolf and turn it into a Shih Tzu. You could give me paperwork all you want. You know, no one really knows how the fuck anybody did that. That's some silly shit. How the fuck did they? How did they make bulldogs, Dobermans?
How many generations did that take?
That's all from wolves. Who? Yeah, how many generations did that take? How the fuck did they exactly
look
go about
different.
doing that? How'd they do that from wolves?
Wouldn't it have to be over like 1 billion years?
I don't know, man. Who the fuck knows? They had said that it was a really recent discovery that it was all wolves. They used to think that it was that most dogs were a bunch of different wild canids. You know,
Really?
I think that's the word for it. Canids.
It just broke off. It's hard.
Yeah, they thought there was a bunch of different wild kind of dogs, you know, like jackals or whatever, and they're all mixed together. But no, it's all wolf, man.
Could happen fast.
Yeah, who knows?
And
But
that's
it's from
why-
it happened because of people. It's really nuts. Because the only thing that's like people is dogs. Dogs are the only thing that's like people.
And what?
Where we're totally not uniform as a species, but that we can interbreed with each other.
Oh, yeah.
We can interbreed with ones that don't look anything like
Yeah,
us.
dogs can do that too.
Like a salmon can't breed with a bass. They swim in the same water, but they can't fuck each other. And
Like a
breed with each
Kaplan
other.
shouldn't be able to breed with a Smith.
What is a Kaplan?
Kaplan's
What?
a Jewish name.
Oh.
I should have gone with something like Greenberg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? We vary as much as dogs do. I mean, you have like Mini-Me, and then you have Shaquille O'Neal, you know? And they both could get
Yeah.
someone pregnant, you know? You got little tiny dudes that fight 135 pounds, and then you got dudes like Brock Lesnar, who has to cut weight to make 265.
That's like
you know?
a different breed.
Yeah, it's like this. We're like dogs. We're like dogs in our you know, how much we vary.
I think that's the reason if you get like when there's race and race traits.
Yeah.
Because they keep interbreeding the same way over and over again. And
Well, it's
gotten
fascinating
less
that
now.
people, still to this day, it's so clear that people who developed in certain parts of the world
Yeah.
just look different. They have different attributes. They have
Yeah.
different strengths and different weaknesses. And there's certain parts of the world where here's where the Asians come from.
Yeah.
They come from Asia. Look, they all look the same. There they go. Boom. This is where the Africans come from. Look, the
All
ones
the
that live in
spiciest food
Africa.
eaters
Look,
come near the
Yeah.
equator.
yeah, right.
That's
yeah.
where it is, you know.
And that's the argument also, that human beings are some sort of an experiment from aliens.
Oh,
Is that we're just like people manipulated dogs
Yeah.
and created
They
dogs
started
and
us
wolves,
off.
that they started us off. That they manipulated
They're just doing
our
studies on
DNA. Yeah, just like we manipulated the DNA of the dogs. What do you think
that
about
might
that,
be true.
Brian?
But either
Fucking
way,
nuts,
I'm
man.
beating off for pleasure.
Yes, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much. Follow Ari Shafir on Twitter. That's ARISHAFFIR. Holla at your boy.
Yeah.
Boom.
Are we filming? Steve Ranella, thanks for coming on, man. That
Thanks
was
for having me
awesome.
on.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm a convert to your program.
Are you?
I'm
Beautiful.
listen. I'd like it even more if I wasn't on it.
I think you converted a lot of people. I think you changed a lot of people's opinions on hunting and trapping, and I think you expressed yourself in a way in the podcast. It's like, what we were talking about, where it's such a long form, you get to really express
Yeah.
yourself. You could kind of tell, like, sometimes, like, you had some really well thought out answers to these questions, almost like you had been waiting for people to ask them, because this is like something that's really kind of bugging you about perception.
I think the same issues come up again and again, and I think that, you put them to me in a way that was actually more challenging to me, because I could tell that you were like coming to honest conclusions. I mean, you were asking like real questions that came up, and not questions that you learned
Politically
somewhere.
correct
Well,
questions,
you're like,
or
oh, I'm
average
going to ask him that
questions,
because that
right.
was a good point. Like you're like, we're giving me thoughts that popped out of your mind.
It's a huge subject.
But
of
it
mine.
is, and I know that I wound up doing a lot of like adding layers on things. Well, there's like this, but then if you look, there's also this, and it makes
Yeah.
that not so this.
Well, the
And
good
it's really hard,
explanation of
but
the
it's really
wolf
hard to
thing.
come in and be like, no, this is wrong, and this is right, and this is
Right.
wrong, and this is right, because things are so complicated. It's the same way that it's hard to come in and say that. It's hard to come in and start talking about euthanasia and act like you have all these like definite, absolute opinions about
Right.
the subject.
Right.
It's
The
it's a
wolf thing
complex
was
subject.
really particular. There's so many different versions of scare sites where people are terrified of these wolves. These wolves are so much bigger. And
Yeah.
the way you broke it down made so much sense. Well, they have more food, and the food's not ready for them, and they get bigger. Like they're the same
But
animal.
still, even after all of this, I still can't certifiably speak to that issue because I don't know.
Right, but
That's my
you're
guess.
coming from a lifelong. A lifelong path as an outdoorsman. So
Yeah.
this is not like an uneducated opinion.
No,
This is-
I've devoted a good part of my life to like trying to study and understand these issues. But that is something I frankly hadn't heard of. But my guess, I think that if you followed what I'm saying, that path would maybe lead you to some enlightenment about that.
If you could live in a part of this country, if you could like pick any spot in this country where you would have like great hunting and great fishing and a good place to like live off the land, what part of the country would you pick?
I did best and kind of enjoyed that aspect of my life the most when I was living in Montana.
Really?
Yeah.
Why Montana?
Well, it's like 70-some% public land. You have very generous, good long seasons to hunt. You have a wide variety. You can hunt almost all North American big game there. I liked it. I still have family there. I hunt there multiple times a year. This is a great place. Also,
Grizzlies.
yeah, but there's no season on those. But
You can just shoot them all year round? Or you
no,
can't
no,
shoot them at
no.
all?
Right now, you cannot. Right now, you cannot hunt. They're still under protection from
That's
the
fucking
Endangered Species
ridiculous.
Act.
If I see a grizzly, I'm shooting that bitch.
And you will wind up being in tons of trouble. In
Yeah,
fact,
man, I'm stealthy. I'm like a ninja. They won't
guys
even know it's me.
coming right at me.
they've had guys. Check this
I
out.
fucking put landmines around my property.
They've had
Been
guys
sleeping in bed. I hear
that-
boom.
They've had guys that have had a black bear permit, so they're legally hunting black bear, and accidentally kill a grizzly, and you wind up having your hunting privileges revoked in all states that cooperate in this agreement for like a period of 7 years, $10,000 fine.
Damn.
It's a big deal. Yeah, you don't mess with grizzly bears there.
But someplace they can hunt grizzlies, right?
yes.
Where's that?
The
Like
only
Alaska, some
state, the
islands?
only state right now where there's legal hunting of grizzly bears or brown bears is in Alaska, and much of Canada.
Are grizzlies
you know,
and brown bears the same thing?
yeah.
There are.
They're not recognized as being subspecies anymore. They're recognized as being the same thing.
They used to call them a subspecies?
They've been back and forth.
Because I thought
on
brown bear was like so sweet.
Generally,
Grizzly's the one you had to look out for.
no, like in general
Like Yogi
popular
would be a brown
terminology. Popular terminology would be that people refer generally to the ones in the interior as grizzlies. Because again, there's like morphological differences. The ones in the coastal areas with access to salmon get much bigger. They have a different appearance. They generally refer to those as brown bears.
Huh, so the brown bears are actually larger than the intercoastal.
The coastal bears get much bigger, have the potential of getting much bigger than the bears in the interior.
But those bears in the interior are the grizzlies.
Yeah, so people usually call those grizzlies.
That's interesting.
Coastal ones brown bears, but they're all part of the same species. They're not recognized as subspecies anymore. They're the same species.
What about
Ursus
polars?
horribilis, I think is what it is.
Polar bears are the really scary motherfuckers, right?
That's a whole different species. But they now realize something they hadn't realized before, that there is some genetic exchange between polar bears and grizzlies, and
There's
some
hybrids,
people argue that they can have viable offspring. I don't know if that's true or not.
Really?
I don't know
Which
if
is
that's true.
uncommon for hybrids.
That's uncommon. But I think I don't know the answer to that, but I know that there's a question about whether they can have viable offspring.
Polar bears are motherfuckers.
And some people think that what's driving that exchange is that as we're losing polar ice caps, it's pushing more polar bear activity onto the mainland where they're running into and hanging out with grizzly bears. That's just something that people throw out there. I don't know if that's true or not.
Have you ever encountered a polar bear in the wild?
I've never laid eyes on a polar bear in a while. It's one of the few. I think it might be one of the only large North American. I think it's the only large North American mammal I've not seen in the wild.
Wow.
Is a polar bear.
Are they common? I mean, can you go look for them, or you'd have to go to certain spots in Alaska? Right?
It's very reliable to go see them in certain areas. Like on Hudson Bay, there's places where you very reliably find them in the winter. There's places where you go and check them out. And you can like book a tour trip and go check them out. I just haven't seen
The
one.
most frightening stories that I ever heard was some boat crashed somewhere, and these guys got off on an ice shelf, and a polar bear started getting closer and closer to them, and jumped in the water and climbed up on the ice shelf, and just fucking killed and ate one of the guys in front of his friends.
You have to
kill
forward
people,
that to
man.
me.
Yeah, they kill people.
No, they do. I
don't
think
fuck
that
around.
I think that probably in a per capita sense, like deaths like the death per number of bear ratio is probably highest with polar bears.
Yeah, they fuck people up, man.
You know,
Stay
and
away
it's
from
definitely second most high with the grizzly bears, which manage to scratch people up. I would like to get mildly scratched up by a grizzly bear. I would like to have I would like to
Shit
have
just got
one.
real weird.
I would like to have one 5-claw scar. And I would like to start wearing my shirt open all the time.
You should shoot a grizzly bear and then have a friend tie the paw to a stick
And just do it.
Just
I know.
claw you,
I
just
should.
for decorations, you know.
Helen,
Yeah. Listen,
You'll do
man,
that for me.
it was an awesome conversation. Thank you very much.
Yep.
If you ever want to come back again,
I'd
please
love to,
do.
man.
Anytime you're in town, we could do this 10 times. I guarantee.
I think we
Guarantee you. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you very
Thank
much. I
You.
appreciate
Yay,
it.
bye.
Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody. We're here with Hamilton Morris and his buddy Matt, the cameraman. Matt, we don't need to know your last name, right?
No, sorry. Whatever.
Whatever, man. Matt was there the whole time we had a podcast looming over our shoulders, making it very uncomfortable. Because there was one person in the room that didn't fucking talk. So I tried to say, Matt, sit down. Why don't you become a part of this? But no, Matt's just dedicated to his creepy filming you and not talking strategy.
I'm glad I had the iMac in front of me so I didn't have to see all this.
Matt, how come you didn't just hang out with us? Why wouldn't you just put the camera down for a little bit?
He's a professional.
Is that what it is? You're not allowed to?
I suppose, man. That's my job. You're not the person who was just hear me talking the other day because I just.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if we got you in there, though, Matt.
Sorry.
But we're going to put you on this.
I'm on this.
Okay, we're on this.
What is this?
This is, we do a little video blog where we just put little clips of people that just did the podcast, you know, ask them if they had fun.
I see.
Throw it
Like
up
an
in
Easter
there.
egg for podcasts.
I see.
Yeah, it's just one more piece of content that people enjoy, you know,
Got
like a
it.
post-podcast wrap-up sort of
Yes.
thing. I know, it seems ridiculous, but they love it, right? I mean, we always get, when's the next one, man? So here it is, the next one with you. And what we were saying before we did this was, one of the coolest things about the internet is that you could watch somebody's stuff, like, and, you know, say, oh, who's this guy? He's fucking crazy. What is he doing? He's hanging out, doing all these drugs and having a good fucking time. I want to meet that guy. And then, boom, we're doing a podcast together.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Strange fucking world we live in.
Science. It's computers.
It's craziness. It's probably witchcraft. We should have a show. We'd be the odd couple.
Yeah.
I'll come in and fucking every day I see ghosts, and you're like, listen, it's a blurry picture. Like, dude, my aunt died in this building, and to this day, no ghosts at all. I don't believe in any of that. You don't believe that it's maybe like, what was the most rational argument that someone had was that an experience could be so traumatic that so much energy is released in the form of emotions and fear that it actually like stains an area, and that you can go near that area and occasionally get a little flashback.
Sure, that's like the Stephen King Shining idea. Yeah. I mean, people hallucinate all the time for various reasons. It's not
Are you
especially
too
uncommon.
smart for horror movies, bro?
No, I love horror movies.
Do
I've
you?
Seen, yeah, absolutely. I've seen hundreds of horror movies.
Because I would think you'd be in there going, werewolves are impossible. This is
No,
ridiculous.
no,
The
no.
pants would not fit him. This is preposterous. How's the pants work now?
No. I've seen every horror movie out there almost.
And it doesn't make you, you have to, sit there and look at some ridiculous shit.
No, I think it's scary. I'm scared of horror movies.
What are you scared of? Oh, like slasher films? Like that kind?
No, even supernatural ones. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, kind of. I used to watch them all the time, like every day, really. And then I started to wonder if it was damaging my mind in some way.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think that would
Because I
damage
feel
your
like
mind
you're
more
just-
than the 100 DMT trips?
Well, you're just inundating your...
DMT 30 days in a row, it's crazy, asshole.
Well,
You know how crazy you have to be 24, and I've already done DMT 30 days in a row? That's something like someone like cancer does when they're like 90. Like, well, fuck it, let's see what happens. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's just redline this bitch and see what kind of performance we can get out of it. You did it. How old were you when you did it? 30 days in a
I
row.
don't know.
19?
Probably about 21. But yeah, I don't think that's especially damaging. But inundating your subconscious with all of these violent images daily seems like it could end. I don't know.
Do you ever worry that someone is going to see all this shit that you put online and that you're going to be some sort of a target?
For anti-drug activists or something like
for
that.
someone who wants to prove a point.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that really hate drugs.
Yeah.
It's possible. I'd be more afraid that it's just like academic opportunities, job interviews, things like that.
Right. Well, that you've got to be missing out on for sure. Listen, you don't need that. Just write books. Write books, use the internet. Done. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You got the internet, man. I mean, it's beautiful to be able to get, some sort of a job teaching at some prestigious university. That would be amazing. But, it would also be amazing? You just fucking putting out books. Just put out books, keep putting out videos, keep fucking doing what you're doing, man. You're doing some cool shit.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to do both if possible.
Yeah. Is it a deterrent, or is it somehow or other?
I don't think unless it's really excessive. But there's plenty of people that get prestigious university positions that have had sordid histories of one kind or another. So it's not
right.
It's not like.
It's not like getting a job at a major bank or something like that.
There's also a lot of fear. There's a lot of paranoia. I know people at MIT that have prescriptions for Adderall and things like that, and they were terrified that anyone would ever find out that they take prescription stimulants.
Really?
Yeah.
What is the deal with Adderall? Is it? I have a friend who's on that shit every day.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me like it seems a weird move. It seems like an energy pill.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
So is that a thing that someone should be taking every day?
Well, should is a complicated word, but I think that certain people benefit from taking it daily. Yeah.
This dude looks like he's aging rapidly because of it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, it may accelerate your metabolism in some way. But I don't
you would think, right?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
You would think that if you're taking something that's a massive stimulant, I mean, look at those faces of meth, right?
A lot of them don't look
people
that
are
bad, though.
Someone sounds horny. They don't look that bad. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. You see Heidi flies to the airport. Yo, Heidi. What's up, Heidi? She don't look that bad.
Some of them look better after the meth. It's like, it's not as if they were extremely attractive people to begin with, and then a decade of meth.
Maybe a decade of
ruined
meth
a
gives them
beautiful
like a little
face.
character.
Yeah.
So like kind of chick you remember picking up in a bar.
Yeah.
Just a mistake. A drunken mistake. This is the perfect end to the weirdest interviews ever in the history of the podcast. Hamilton Morris, you're a hell of a guy, and it was very awesome having you on the show.
Yes.
Really
Thanks for
interesting
having
stuff. That you really most informed.
Yeah.
Like on psychedelics, especially of any guy I think we've ever talked to. So it was cool. It's
Cool.
fun. I think a lot of people got a lot out of that, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hope we didn't weird you out too much.
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody.
What's happening, beautiful people?
Joe Diaz here.
We just finished a great fucking podcast. Thank you for listening.
We had a good time. I can't believe you still told some stories that I hadn't heard before.
Which one?
Like a bunch of them. The fucking roofing. I never heard the story about you roofing
That's
in Colorado.
And Steve Graybo, and
Yeah, the Graybo story. There was
Graybo
another one I
story.
hadn't heard of before. Damn.
it's always something. We always have a good fucking time, though.
Aspen sounds like a fucking trip.
It was a trip back
It's still today
Still
is a trip, isn't it?
Yeah, still
That's a kind of a fucked up place. Is that where Charlie Sheen? That is. That's where Charlie
Yes,
Sheen
beat up Mueller. Yes.
held that bitch down. It's like, I'll
Yes,
fucking
yes,
cut you.
yes. That's
Yeah.
the place, man, where it goes
Is it?
down.
Yeah. Is it a coke place? Is that
It's a
what it
coke.
is?
It's a drug. It's a place where people with means go
And party.
They can't party, and the cops come, and it's going to be okay. That's why I was
TMZ doesn't
surprised.
make it to Aspen. That's
They
what it
protect
is.
their own ass.
Brian, so let me ask you, what's it like? Now that Death Squad has reached number 6.
Number 6. It's great.
Pretty strong, huh?
Temporarily in with the big boys. It's cool.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, if you do it once, you can continue to do it.
Keep doing it, bro.
Yeah.
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 Look at that.
Yeah. A lot of work though. Like
Yeah.
like
no, you're constantly working, but
Working.
it's paying off. And it's funny how these guys leave the Death Squad label, their fucking podcasts sort of evaporate.
yeah.
Strange.
It's weird, but it makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, we
United
yeah.
we stand, divided we
United,
fall.
exactly.
All right.
Strong.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
There's strength in fucking numbers.
In numbers, in
right.
power. Well, wealth, ladies and gentlemen.
We need
Thanks
to
for
know
tuning
it's
into the
fucking Chicago
podcast.
next weekend, baby.
Chicago,
Just make
by the
sure
time
you're
this
there.
video's out, it'll be a year ago.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we have a Chicago theater date in a couple of days, and we're getting fired up for that.
Well, this
right
video
now.
will be out for Vegas. Go to fucking Vegas.
Yeah,
all right?
Vegas, February 3rd, House of Blues, you savages.
Stay
And
black.
Stay black, and follow Joey Diaz on Twitter. It's
Mad
Mad Flavor.
Flavor, Red Band, Ari Shafir, Minneapolis, all that shit.
See you. See you.
Yeah, that's badass.
Let's record this right here. Here we are. Powerful C2O. I'm gonna shill for C2O. Ah, delicious coconut water. But it is delicious, right?
I heard you can shoot it up.
Yeah, you can. It's like a thing they did in like the fucking Vietnam War or something. They substituted it for IV in the
Yeah.
South Pacific. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Just go right into your veins.
Yeah.
Like water, like when you get a drip.
Yep.
It's like an IV drip of coconut water.
You ever heard of coffee enemas?
I've heard of a lot of different types.
What does that
of
do? Does that give you a crazy buzz?
I thought it was just really good for you, healthy-wise.
Yeah, but why is it healthy?
I think the caffeine, I don't know. I would be guessing.
Just cleans out the inside.
Yeah.
What about
Spurting
that?
Bubbles.
What about that woman who did a DMT enema?
That's that girl that Hamilton Morris
I
interviewed.
know.
Oh, by the way, for any of you that saw the Hamilton Morris interview, we fucked up. We're so sorry. We got Hamilton way too high. We got way too high. We just completely overmodulated. Sometimes when you go to these dispensaries, you forget, like when you buy something, whether it's an indica or a sativa, you forget. And there was definitely a sativa, or excuse me, definitely an indica, which is like the stuff that makes you sleepier. And it was way too strong. We were all off the tracks and into the woods,
Awful.
and we were trying to keep a conversation together, but we were just
That sucks.
blasted.
Here's an artist rendering of it right here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was preposterous. The fact that we pulled together any sort of a podcast was amazing. He kept fucking with his voice. He would get like really deep. He was so high. He was like playing with his voice on the microphone.
That was freaking me out. Like,
Yeah.
I almost started having a panic attack. Like,
I love that dude, though. I love anybody who's out there doing wild shit like that. I love anybody who's out there just fully embracing the freak culture and, pushing forward. And he did a really cool thing with the isolation tank manufacturers. He went down there and filmed there, and he took an edible before he got in. Under
That's
my
cool.
advice, I said, just take some pot, like an hour and a half before you go in, and it'll be perfect. You just get in there and ride it. And that's exactly what he did. He said it was amazing.
Wow.
He went for a 3-hour ride.
Wow.
He's super high on a pot brownie and an isolation tank. That's heaven.
cool.
It's heaven. It's heaven.
Gotta get one of those.
That's what you and I got to do next, dude. You and I and the Onic guys, we're going to start opening up tank centers. I had a conversation today. I was doing this interview for our Vegas show next week. And I'm doing this interview, and I'm like, talking about, the woman asked me about isolation tanks, and I said, yeah, they're really hard to find. There's like a few places in California, but I know there used to be a place in Vegas, and I thought about it, I'm like, why are they hard to find? Why don't I just start making tank centers?
It's a great idea.
Yeah, there's fucking tanning centers, man. You think there couldn't be tank centers? And by the way, those tank centers, what a great way to meet cool people.
Yeah.
Huh? Go with a bunch of other people that want to explore their consciousness, a bunch of other people that want to relax and float, a bunch of other people that are curious about those sort of things. I mean, that'd be like a great place. If you had like a big waiting area that was like really quiet and couches and shit and magazines, people would probably hang out there after their
Could do little seminars there.
Yes, you could have little shows there.
Yeah.
Or you could have authors come in and talk about books, books on consciousness. You could have psychedelic guys like Dennis McKenna could come and speak,
Let's do it.
Dude, we should do that, right?
Yeah.
All right, see, the birth of an idea. This is totally what the next stage will do. That's how I'm going to move my friend Tommy Jr. from Connecticut, too. Have him come down and run our tank centers.
Great idea.
We need to fucking figure out a way to make ourselves completely self-sustaining outside of the mechanism of Hollywood. It's totally doable.
I have an idea.
What?
I'm not going to say it on the air.
Powerful idea. We'll see you soon. Powerful. Tell me what it's on. Powerful Eliza.
Is this a camera?
And your dog's name
It's a
is
video
again?
camera. It's Blanche.
Blanche. Eliza's one of those crazy dog ladies that brings her dog everywhere she goes, even
Wouldn't
to comedy
you?
clubs. And she brings her dog to the Ice House Chronicles. The dog just fucking wanders out around the streets of Pasadena. We had to go running after it while she was on stage.
that
Snuck
happen?
out. Yeah, nobody was watching her. You left her there. Nobody was watching her. She didn't know where you were either. She went looking for you. Why don't you just leave her in your car when you do stuff like that? It's not hot out.
I'm leaving my car.
For a set?
What if
and then
someone takes the
come back
car?
down? Someone steals your car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess you could look at it that way. Someone's a glass half empty sort of gal, isn't she?
That's right.
Yeah.
You should have a book bag that you can. They make book bags you can keep her inside the book bag.
I have in the car. I have two.
So Eliza
I got that.
Schlesinger, you're probably the most aggressive female comedian we know. What's the secret to that?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
You're very.
I didn't know we were going to do this.
No, I'm just doing a video.
What's the? I don't know.
What
I just
is
a lot
what's
of things
behind
get me
that?
fired up.
Yeah, you're fucking.
I just think when you get on stage, the audience came to have a good time. You
Right.
gotta give it to them. None of this
Yeah.
smell like
I
they
do
want
not
it.
like that, right? Do you get upset when you see people? What else? What else? And they like flip through their
It's
nose.
the alternative
What
comic.
else?
If there's like 12 people in the crowd and you're working something out, okay,
Yeah.
but I just feel like an audience came, they're drunk, it's a Saturday
Right.
night, they worked hard all week, they want to cry from laughing, and I have a lot of energy. I like to move around and want to give it to them proper.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's just, I'm aggressive, but you gotta get, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Well, it's good. You have a great personality. It's not a bad thing. It's just you're unusual. You're an unusual girl. You have a lot of lesbian qualities, but you're not a lesbian.
Drove a Blazer, I told you that several years.
Is that good? Did it have a bass on the back of it?
No, but it had a splash decal on the side, and my parents told me that I picked that one. I have no recollection of that.
You picked the splash decal?
Like, out of all the Chevys in the lot, I was like, I want the splash decal. And then I like rolled
How
my
old were
sleeves
you
up.
when this happened?
16.
Did you have like a roll of cigarettes in your sleeve?
No, but I do have a penchant for sleeves without the shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
Or shirts without the sleeves, rather. You can't be just
Sleeves
walking around with
without
just
the
sleeves,
sleeves.
just tits hanging out, sleeves on. What's up? Isn't it fucked up when you do something like that? You reverse something and you have no idea you did it, and everybody's like, "What?"
And they make a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, like you don't even know what the fuck happened,
And you can't believe you made a mistake like that because you're
like,
normally
"No,
so
I didn't."
articulate.
I know, but then they play you back the tape. That's the problem with like the podcast.
The
I've seen
tape?
myself say something on the podcast. Like one time I said, "Yeah, it's like PCs versus Windows." Which is the opposite. It's PC
PC has
versus
Windows,
Mac,
yeah.
but I said PC. Yeah.
Well, the worst is when someone gets what you're like. When they get the gist and they
But then
correct you
keep-
anyway.
They keep correcting.
They didn't even mean that you're like, you know
Oh,
what they meant.
stupid! Do you know the difference?
Yeah, actually, along that, what I hate is when you go to give someone directions. You're like, it's right up here on that road. They're like, you mean over here?
Yeah.
And like from inside a building, you're like,
Yeah.
who has spatial relations that much on lock that you
Yeah,
know
you're in
that
a
it's
fucking
in a
building
building?
on the 30th floor, wandering
And
around
now you're
cubicles
lost?
and shit.
Yeah, none of that. You mean that way?
Fucking assholes. Why don't you just be nice to Eliza?
Yeah, be nice. I'm a nice person.
She's a good person. Okay? Why do you make dudes uncomfortable? What do you think that's all about?
No, it's not my problem. You're not even mating with me if I make you uncomfortable.
Not me, no.
Not
I've
you.
seen you. You make me a little uncomfortable.
Did you say no? I've seen you.
No, that's not what I said. I said you don't
Yes,
make
it
me.
is. Remember you just said no. I don't know, but there's.
Well, men are intimidated by intelligent women. First,
not all men, but a lot are.
A lot of men don't want the game to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's already difficult to get a girl like you, and to have to measure up to a girl as well as other men. You know, like ugh.
That's why from the get-go, I'm like, you don't have to be smart or funny as long as you're really hot.
So you just like hot guys that are just nice to you.
But they could, if a guy's smarter and funnier than me, he doesn't have to be hot. That's okay too. But you have to somewhere. You got to be better than me.
Right. So you could be not funny or smart but hot, or you could be funny and smart and not so hot.
Yeah.
Those are the two options.
Because funny and smart can be hot.
Right. I see what you're saying. So you're just like a guy in a lot of ways. Like guys don't like most guys don't need girls to be that smart. They just need to be
Most
hot,
guys prefer that they
fun
are
to be
retarded.
around. Well, someone said this, and I always attribute it to George Harrison, although I can't find it online that he said it, but I'm pretty sure he did say it. He said, all I need from a woman is to be attracted to her. Everything else I get from a man.
That's
really
interesting.
I
Women
remember
are much more
hearing
complex.
that going, God, that's so brilliant. Women are much more complex. Some of them, for sure. Some of them.
We're all crazy, and what's interpreted as we need so many. Like, yeah, you need a guy to be hot, but then it's like, but he has to understand me and listen and not do this, and it has to be 75 degrees, and I want a fun restaurant and wedges. Like, there's a lot.
Well, you're very demanding.
No, I'm very low maintenance.
You're very low maintenance?
I'm super low maintenance.
Really? You're not super specific about what you want?
Mm-mm. It's demanding in like a cute way. Like, you would never get annoyed.
Okay, sure. You're not an asshole about it.
Yeah, unless it comes time to food. Then it has to
Food has to be
my way.
Your way. So, like, if
Because
like
guys will eat anything. You don't care.
Really?
I think.
What do you like to eat that like you have arguments with any man about?
It's not about it's what I don't want to eat.
Like what?
I'll be in the car with a guy and I'm like, I'm hungry. He's like, you want to go? Where do you want to go eat? And anything he says, I don't want.
Really?
I don't want to get barbecue in the middle at noon on a Tuesday. I just woke up.
Barbecue's awesome.
I'm gonna get barbecue in the middle of the day. I'm gonna get all heavy and I'll get puffy.
Yeah, you ever eat at Dr. Hoggly Woggly's in Van Nuys?
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
No.
So good.
No. Girls
You're not
like
a
to eat light
carnivore.
things. I do. I like meat, but at
Do you?
dinner.
But at dinner.
Not. I just woke up. Maybe like something later.
Dinner, you're a carnivore.
I like the churrascarias.
Oh, the Brazilian restaurants.
And
Those
the
are my
and the
favorite.
Japanese barbecue.
Brian and I have eaten at fucking almost every one of them.
Even the fake photos.
We ate at a Fogo in Chicago.
Yeah.
FAU go.
Diaz
FAUX.
and Duncan
Fogo.
and I. The Fogo de Chaos are awesome.
Those are good, and the Japanese one you can make your own. They have Gayukaku on La Cienega.
So fucking cheap too.
So good.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Bam.
Yeah.
Bam.
Bam.
Talking good food. All right, Eliza. What else? Do you, no. Jesus. I have bad breath?
No, it smells good. I thought like someone maybe it's a barbecue.
Don't cover, sweetie. What else do you have to tell these fine people?
I don't know.
Anything? What else do they need to know about you?
You just follow me on Twitter. You'll find out everything.
Follow this crazy bitch. She's very funny. Very talented.
Oh, you can watch my
her
TV show.
Yes. Well, yeah. Yeah.
I have a TV show.
It's an actual show.
It's a real show.
An online show and a real one.
And a real one. It's called Excused. And you can go to excusedtv.com to check the local listings in your area. But in LA, it's on weeknights at 12:30 a.m. on KCAL 9.
Bam. So there you go. You done been told. And you can follow her on Twitter. ILIZA. And there's a cute little doggy. So cute. We just got done a beautiful podcast with my friend Brian Callen and my friend Jimmy Burke.
How are you guys?
And
Joe
Brian.
Rogan. Joe Rogan is a life changer. And I'm doing this, what is this thing called?
Turbosonic.
I'm doing a turbosonic, which is sound waves that go through your body, and I've actually never had this sensation. It's a really weird feeling right now. And you can hear my voice. I actually can't control it. That's how I'm talking.
It's actually sound. This is a giant speaker, and it's sonic waves that are forcing his body to vibrate like this. And keep an eye on it, because right now this is like the high frequency end of it, but then it gets to this really low thudding frequency. Like there it goes. And it just becomes totally
it's
different.
really wild.
Yeah, now you hear it. It varies. There's like a whole. You can do it manual. You can have it set to a certain
really
level.
good. It's
Yeah.
not like just being shaken. It's something else.
No, it's actually sonic waves. So when you say you're being shaken, you sort of are, but it's not like someone's shaking you. It's sonic waves through your whole body, emanating through your fucking feet from a speaker.
And the Russian scientists would use this when they're in space.
They use this to stay up in orbit far longer than anybody thought was possible. Yeah, it stimulates your glandular system, stimulates your body's ability to produce human growth hormone. It's great for you. Yeah, it's fantastic for you.
Their muscle density.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard of it.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing shit.
Oh, it's
You
unbelievable.
know what I've been thinking about the whole time I've been on here for some reason?
What?
Is how you saved my life when I got that girl pregnant and I was going to marry her. and you literally started to flip out. You're like, I'm losing you.
Dude, I used to have to protect you.
you.
I protected him from so many girls. There were so many times he was with a girl. I was like, what the fuck are you
If I had
doing?
listened to you more, I would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah, well, you got into, before your lovely wife, you got into a lot of save-a-hoe situations where you were saving a lot of fucked up girls. Like, you ran across a lot of lost children, and you went and rescued
like, oh, no,
them.
I don't want the girl with the good family. I want the girl with the track marks and the bat tattooed to her face, please. That sounds like a project.
Yeah, there was quite a few situations where I was like, what are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing? Patty was the only one. Patty actually called me up and thanked me. She goes, thank God for Joe Rogan. The only one that talked. Everybody else was like, hey, man, I guess you're having a baby.
He flipped out.
And I was like, you're having a baby with her?
Like,
Are you fucking
you were like,
crazy?
you can't do this. He flipped out. Like, he literally started to flip out.
I was screaming at him because I saw him convincing himself that it was going to be okay. I go, dude, you do not want to enter into any sort of a situation with this girl for the rest of your life. I go, if it's out of your hands, you can't control it, that's fine. I go, but you do not want a long-term relationship with this crazy bitch. If you can avoid it, please do.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, well, life is crazy, dude. And, you know, as we develop, we realize that we are a bunch of deficits that we had when we were younger that we're still trying to make up for.
That's it.
You know, look at this, shaking like a leaf. It's not even the machine. This is him thinking about his past.
That's what it is.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it awesome though? It makes you feel great.
And
you feel stimulated when you get off of it.
And it's also exactly what Christopher McDonald in his book, and what's that book, Bubba? The running book.
Born to Run.
Born to Run, which is an awesome book. You have to read. Oh, I loved it.
What is that?
Have you read that?
No, never read it.
Born to Run, which this guy, Christopher McDonald, 6'4", big, kind of lanky Irish guy, loved to run, in his late 40s. He heard about this Tarahumara tribe in Mexico that were running ultra marathons, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles in a day. And not in bare feet. They were taking down tires, cutting them down, melting them, and then just having the smallest bit of rubber on the bottom of their feet that just conformed for their feet. So basically it was like they were running barefoot. Because they're going over rocks and boulders and cactus and for 100 miles in the desert.
So they melted down tires. How'd they get them to stick to their feet?
They just, they took twine and they just took leather, tied it, and made a very primitive sandal. Now, I wear these. That's kind of what they did. They took there's no heel.
Right.
Because your feet are the first thing, and usually the only thing that's touching the ground when you're walking. And so, of course, it's affecting your nervous system. Your feet are telling you what to do. Your feet are sending, right now, as I'm moving around, my feet are sending off images to my brain.
Yeah.
And it's
well, that's the idea behind those Vibram 5-finger shoes.
I wear them. We both wear them.
I wear them too.
Yeah.
You know what else I do? I lift weights barefoot.
Me too. Absolutely. Me too. I wear the Vibrams. I don't go barefoot.
I learned that from Steve Maxwell.
I got that from Tim Ferriss's book.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
I got
like
it
that
from Steve
book,
Maxwell. He had me doing everything barefoot, kettlebells barefoot.
Yeah, because you can lift more.
And you feel it through your toes too.
Yes.
Your body's moving. You feel better.
Yes, your nervous system is becoming, the more we have heels, the more we have shit on the bottom of our feet, the more insulated we are from the world.
Well, not only that, when someone created a running shoe, what they did is they created it so that when you land, you land on your heel, where it puts this pounding on your knee, whereas you're supposed to land on your toes. That's how people are supposed to run. They're supposed to run on your toes. It's a shock absorber.
Exactly.
And it takes all the pressure off your knees. So fighters now, they do sprints. They do sprints with those 5-finger toe things, and they run on grass, and everyone's, it's a completely different way of training.
Training has changed. It's revolutionized. Like training and nutrition has taken on a revolutionary step. Like the way guys train now, like the intensity, the short intensity.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah, completely different. But Nick Diaz still jogs, still runs 5 miles, swims an hour and a half.
That guy's
freak. He's a freak. He's a freak. Turbosonic, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. If you find a place where you can rent
Jim,
one,
you want to jump on this?
Float Lab in Venice. They have them at the Float Lab in Venice.
I can get off if I stop it.
Yeah, just press stop.
I want to get on that.
Okay, just give it 1 second. Let it completely die off and see no red up there. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Callen. You can get Brian Callen's podcast. It's the Brian Callen Show, and it's available only on the Death Squad label on iTunes, which is also the home of the Ice House Chronicles. That's Ice House. Ice House Chronicles, which is one of my favorite podcasts.
It's called the Brian Callen Show because I was like, what do I name it? Something cool? And he's like, just call it the Brian Callen Show.
Well, you want to make sure that they know your name.
Right.
Your name should be like someone's like, like Duncan's like, I gotta call it the Lavender Hour. I go, no one's gonna remember that. Call it the Duncan Trussell Show. He's like, you're right. So now his new thing is the Duncan Trussell Show. He's gonna call it the Duncan Trussell Show. But he was calling it the Lavender Hour. I go, you're missing 50% of the people that are Googling your podcast. At least. At least. Who the fuck is gonna look for the Lavender Hour, man? What does that even mean? What does that even mean, you fucking weirdo? I love you, Duncan. That's the end of this podcast, video, blog. Brian Reichel, anything else to say to these fine folks?
Deathsquad.tv.
Deathsquad.tv. Doug.com.
There it is.
Bye.
Alright, 6 seconds.
Are you beyond the point? Are you guys friends still?
We're cool, we're cool.
And are you beyond the point?
You really loved it when you first met her, right?
No.
The government don't give a fuck about it.
No, because shutting down the government websites is all about it.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming, dude. It's
Yeah,
very
dude,
fun.
it was,
very interesting.
really fucking
was.
fun.
There was too much of us at the end. It was a disaster.
No,
we
it
were
was
all
fun.
drunk, but it was still lighthearted. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time, man. Yeah, we pulled it off. We know we were talking over each other when we were hammered, but that is what it is. That's what happens when you get hammered. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you.
Same time next year. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Same time next year.
The Joe Rogan Experience.